What if we told you that the most dangerous woman in MMA today doesn't scream, doesn't taunt, doesn't dance before a fight? She just shows up and destroys.
So long and rangy.
Put away.
Oh! On a power!
Meet Dakota Ditcheva, part British, part Bulgarian, and 100% violence. At just 26 years old, she's unbeaten, untouched, and unrelenting. A fighter who doesn't just collect wins, she collects bodies. 14 fights, 14 wins, 12 knockouts. Only one opponent has even made it to the final bell. The rest left in a heap, wondering what just ran them over.
She's brilliant. She do well just boxing, really moving upright.
Dakota's skills. She is one of the most spiteful strikers that we've ever seen in the PFL.
Don't be fooled by her calm voice or model-like appearance. Dakota is a cold-blooded technician of chaos. She doesn't fight to win decisions. She fights to erase doubt, end careers, and remind the world. That dominance doesn't need drama. Today, we're diving into the destruction. From her terrifying debut to her most recent blood-soaked playoff masterpiece, this is the story of Dakota Ditcheva, the queen of violence in the PFL. These are the fights that turned her from a rising prospect to the most feared name in women's MMA. Dakota versus Jenny Line. Dakota's MMA debut on April 10, 2021, was the perfect storm of preparation and brutality. A seasoned Muay Thai striker, she wasted no time making her mark. Jenny Line never stood a chance. From the opening bell, Dakota fired off sharp strikes, controlling the pace and probing for weaknesses. Once Line was visibly drained, Dakota turned up the heat. Elbows, knees, and a spinning elbow that led to the finish. It wasn't just a win, it was a warning shot to the rest of the division. Dakota versus Carrie Isom. Her second pro fight looked more like a sanctioned execution. Carrie Isom came in confident, but quickly met a front kick to the chin and a clean hook. Dakota's clinch work was a clinic, unloading a flurry of elbows and knees. Then came the takedown. From top position, Dakota poured on the ground and pound until the ref stepped in. Just 2 fights in, and fans were already buzzing about her ruthless efficiency. Dakota versus Patricia Borges. Closing out 2021, Dakota squared off with Patricia Borges. Borges clinched and held, hoping to neutralize the storm. It didn't work. Dakota broke free, reset, and unleashed a violent combination that had Borges reeling. The barrage of fists forced the referee to intervene. 3 fights, 3 finishes. The hype was real. Dakota versus Simone Silva, January 15, 2022. Simone Silva became the first fighter to survive a round with Dakota, but only barely. Dakota dominated the first, then came out in the second with a cruel sense of patience. She framed Silva in the clinch and drove a knee right into her core, followed by relentless pressure. The finish was inevitable, and another one-sided beatdown in the books. Dakota versus Hasna Jaber. This was her official PFL debut, and she made it unforgettable. Facing 3-1 Moroccan prospect Hasna Jaber, Dakota treated the bout like target practice. A stiff counter right, a front kick, a crushing clinch knee to the liver. It was all over in 58 seconds. A debut so dominant, it sent a clear message to the rest of the PFL flyweights. Run or be wrecked. Dakota versus Catherine Corginas. 2 undefeated fighters entered. Only one walked out conscious. Catherine Corriginis came in with power, but Dakota had timing. She dropped Corriginis with a precise right, shrugged off her offense, and tore her apart in the clinch. The final flurry of punches and knees left the ref no choice but to wave it off. Unbeaten, unbothered, and still finishing everyone. Dakota versus Lisa Malden. On April 4, 2024, Dakota faced a gritty opponent in Lisa Malden. Lisa tried early kicks and attempted to work from guard, but Dakota had no intention of letting her breathe. Body shots, front kicks, and pressure. Malden folded into herself against the fence, offering no return fire. Referee stoppage came swiftly. Another first-round finish. Dakota was now steamrolling names, not just prospects. Dakota Ditcheva versus Chelsea Hackett. Chelsea Hackett brought credentials and striking experience, but Dakota erased all that in under a round. A huge punch dropped Hackett, and Dakota swarmed her in the clinch with signature knees. A crushing body shot folded her in half. Hackett crumbled. The ref didn't hesitate. Dakota didn't even break a sweat. Dakota versus Jena Bishop. The 2024 PFL semifinal had fans curious. Could a submission ace like Jena Bishop derail Dakota? Short answer, absolutely not. Dakota stayed composed, cut angles, and punished Bishop with surgical body shots and tight clinch control. Bishop never got going. Another stoppage, another statement. Ditcheva had now torn through everyone en route to the final. Dakota versus Malin Hermansson. Ditcheva competed against Malin Hermansson at the PFL Europe debut show in Newcastle in March 2023. By now, Dakota Ditcheva had built a reputation as a silent assassin. No trash talk, no theatrics, just pure destruction. But against Hermansson, she delivered one of her most cold-blooded finishes yet. Hermansson came in confident, talking about how she'd expose Dakota's weaknesses. You know what's the result? She barely lasted 2 minutes. From the start, Dakota dictated the pace. A stiff jab kept Hermansson at bay, while the threat of Dakota's kicks forced her into defensive mode. But then, boom, Dakota exploded with a devastating right cross that sent Hermansson staggering. Another first-round finish. Another victim added to the list. Dakota versus Lisa Malden. Dakota Ditcheva faced Lisa Malden at PFL 1 in Texas, United States in April 2024. This was supposed to be Dakota Ditcheva's toughest test. Lisa Malden was no joke. A well-rounded fighter with knockout power and elite grappling. The PFL saw this as a fight that could push Dakota to her limits. Instead, it became her most ruthless destruction yet. The moment the fight started, Dakota went to work. A front kick to the chest sent Malden flying backward. A stiff jab knocked her head back. By the time Malden realized what was happening, she was already drowning in deep waters. At the 2-minute mark, Dakota landed a beautiful step-in elbow that staggered Malden. Smelling blood, she swarmed. An uppercut, a knee to the body, and a final head kick that sent Malden crashing to the canvas. Dakota versus Taila Santos. PFL Super Fight. This was the one. The 2024 PFL Championship Final. Taila Santos, former UFC title challenger who went 5 rounds with Valentina Schevchenko, was the biggest threat Dakota had ever faced. But Dakota wasn't rattled. She stayed behind her jab, worked sniper kicks, and countered perfectly. Santos attempted a clinch. Bad idea. Dakota drove a knee straight through her ribs. It was nuclear. Just like that, the undefeated prospect became the PFL Women's Flyweight Champion. No controversy, no judges needed, just violence. So, the question isn't whether Dakota Ditcheva is the future of MMA, that's already answered. The real question now is, who in the world is brave enough to try and stop her? Because right now, Dakota Ditcheva isn't just on a winning streak. She's building a reign of terror, and the era of the Queen of Violence has just begun.